Good afternoon to everybody. It's a great pleasure to present and to share with you some ideas. You will see that they are not full OEM core activities oriented, but the key message is to show that if we can build an electric mobility system, the question of EV goes far beyond mobility issues and reach a larger question of energy and urban living as well. So the four key messages would be how to integrate eco-mobility upstream in the eco-building, how to develop a whole package of mobility means, and see the stake of EV within a larger grid as a component of the grid. So when we speak about a mobility system, obviously it's a system of vehicles, infrastructure, roads, charging points, information system and so on, management and services, mobility services, fed by energy and connectivity components as well, more and more interacting and producing data, as we already spoke about that. But all this system is interacting with the space within the services and where it is delivered. I mean cities, villages, regions. So the question of smart cities in India is emerging very rapidly and very strongly. So it has different definitions and it is a large basket. But it's important to just in the master plan of new cities to upstream integrate the eco-mobility features within the eco-building. This is an example of a well-done example made by BCIL in Bangalore with Z Homes. And it's interesting to see that it has been so well designed that naturally, spontaneously, electric cars accommodated within these areas as a second car mostly. And so you can see that there is a big coherence of the context, able to consider mobility as a part of the living, of the daily life. It means that obviously this question of mobility and electric mobility at any scales would be integrated in transit-oriented development, so how to deal with density, how to optimize last mile connectivity and so on. And maybe a strategy would be to develop a full package of local zero-emission mobility means, from electric bikes to tramways or metro, mass transit, and with electric buses, electric taxis, shared taxis, and so on, and any potential last-mile connectivity mean. The question of package means package of solutions altogether, but as well package of partners. So the strong partnerships to be built are quite prominent and sensitive for this issue. Obviously, when we speak of package of mobility means, it means integrated means of transportation with a question of ticketing, of integrated fare and so on, intermodal services and so on. So it's interesting to see that now in India many cities have a metro. I visited the metro of Hyderabad in September, and all this question of TOD and last mile connectivity with rickshaw all around the station are thought all together. And we have many initiatives. We spoke previously of bottom-up initiatives. So EV corporate services, electric bikes and so on are interesting emerging initiative in India. They have to be brought all together to be much more efficient. And an important point about electric mobility is, as previously said, it should be a strategic pivot for adjusting energy management for the demand response and for the storage of renewable energy, already said by Professor. So at Nissan and Renault, the question of vehicle to home and the question of vehicle to grid is very, very important and has been tested within different pilots. And the question of the use, the recycling use of the batteries as well is prominent with the second life batteries. When the battery has less capacities to be used within the car, it is worth being used as a storage component of a microgrid within buildings or any premises. So this is something we are testing in different pilots in Europe by the moment, using Zoe's, our electric car's battery, within premises to store renewable energy. The third element of electric mobility is that it could be used to reshape the cities as well. It is just a support to make some urban design related to the areas of these electric mobilities. For instance, some design of stations about a service named Twizy Way we developed in the new town of Saint-Quentin-en-Yvelines near Versailles in Paris area. And so we designed new station able to be integrated within the city and able to reshape the city. Innovation in the reshaping cities as well, with new solutions of producing and storage energy within the city, for instance, innovative advanced building schemes could be a key to produce more energy for electric mobility. The question of dynamic charging on roads, highways, tested in UK, for instance, and even micro hydro within cities to produce energy. All that is relevant and could feed new electric mobility services or micro mobility services to be included in all the model chain of transportation. And what about India? Obviously, India has a great potential, especially with its urban pattern made of archipelagos and completely coherent with islanding of smart grid microgrids. With many clusters, dedicated clusters, which could be autonomous in terms of energy, in terms of mobility services, obviously linked each other, but some specific and targeted services could be developed within these clusters. Clusters are IT campus, integrated townships, specific economic zones, and so on. And it gives some profile of mobility and energy usage. The other potential of India is its proficiency in scarce resource management, such as water, but as well electricity, able to produce, to distribute, store, and find alternative way of using these resources. And the addition of that, especially with new services or IT services, able to provide information, and when there are some outage or what would be the quality of energy produced or available, all that is possible, filling the gap, assembling all these different sources and components with human actions or not. And obviously in the daily life, we can see that the stored energy is everywhere, on night market in India, for instance, in ice cream delivery and so on. Speaking about advanced mobility, we spoke about autonomous driving, which could be a new way of considering mobility. And obviously, in the case of last mile delivery, it would be interesting to think how to dedicate some corridors for autonomous driving, able to feed more efficiently mass rapid transit corridor as well. So the question and the path of diffusion of EV and new mobility in India, obviously it will take time. We can emphasize that bottom initiative will bring new solutions as well. And in a cost-sensitive country like that, the question of energy and quality, air quality as well are important. And so we can find different ways of considering electric mobility path within this broad system of mobility and energy as well. Obviously, new funding models have to be, business models have to be built. Mostly we can guess based on public-private partnerships, but different new models have to be assessed. Thank you very much.